Film Classification Board. It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.
Hello viewer, good morning and welcome to Chungu cha Jamii. My name is Betty Akuku, I'm your host today, and I have guests in studio. I have ladies and a gentleman. We're going to be talking about a very, very interesting topic. I'm so sure you don't want to miss viewing and listening to this. Our topic today is life begins at 40. I don't know whether you agree with this or you have questions and concerns and anything you want to say about this. Our SMS line is 21144, and I will ask my guests to introduce themselves, beginning with the ladies from my very far left.
Good morning, viewers. My name is Pauline Wanje, a marriage and family therapist. Thank you.
Welcome, Pauline.
Good morning, viewer. I'm Wilkista Juma, a psychologist, life coach.
Welcome, Kista. And the gentleman.
Good morning, viewers. My name is Emmanuel Kariuki. I am Executive Director of Freedom in Christ Ministries, Kenya. Thank you.
Wow. So I have ladies, and I also have a gentleman. I'm wondering how it's gonna go, but I know all is going to be perfect because the gentleman is so strong, doesn't look like he'll be intimidated by the girls. So we're talking about life begins at 40. I know it should be ladies first, but I want to first hear from the gentleman, being the only one. What is your view on this? Is it true that life begins at 40?
I believe so.
You believe so?
I believe so.
Okay, in this forum, since it's life beginning at 40,
yes,
I don't think you can talk about this if you haven't hit there. So tell us your age and tell us why you think it's so.
Well, I am years old.
You are?
I am 43 years old.
Wow.
So yeah, 40 was 3 years ago. And yeah, I'm excited about it. It's, you know, you always fear getting to that age, like, hey, I'm growing old. But for me, it was such a joy. I can't trade this season for any other season.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the rest.
Wow. So your life actually began?
It actually began.
It actually did?
It did.
Good.
Yeah.
The girls, what do you think? Kista?
Hey, women don't talk about their age. Hey, for the first time, I've always been 18 and 26 because they kept on saying, you know, I'm 18, 19. I'm 43 now.
Wow.
Proudly. So I had a big party when I turned 40. And yes, I believe, do you know where that thing started from? The life begins at 40.
No idea. I want to hear.
Maybe I'll tell you. But I'm happy that I turned 40 and life is beginning. I feel like
3 years old.
Yeah, still 3 years old.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Pauline,
Yes.
did your life begin or you were under 40?
Mine began several years ago. I'm 47.
Wow, she's the oldest. You can't believe it. She's the oldest of, yes.
Wow. I just turned 47, and I thank God because looking back, how many of us were born at the same time I was born, and maybe there are no more. So I'm proud that I'm 47, and I'm 7 years born again into life starts at 40. And I thank God for the journey.
Okay.
Yes.
Where did this start from? Who said life starts at 40? I'm curious to meet him and hear.
There's a guy, a psychologist actually, was Walter Pitkin, something like that. Pitkin, and actually before that, people used to believe life ends at 40. Ends at 40. So he kind of changed that to make people feel like they are reborn. When you hit 40, that is not when you feel like life is ending.
When you're supposed to be burying everything.
Yeah, in the early 1930s, when there was the World War I.
World War II.
Two?
Late 30s was World War II, yes.
But early, after the World War I.
Yes.
So people were coming out there to go home and retire. You know,
At 40.
you feel like you're 40 and you're going home to retire. There is nothing after that. Then he came up with a book, I think, and there was a song, and it was all in the newspapers. People were like, oh, life begins at 40. People now started looking at life differently. Like now, when I hit 40, I'm done with the war. I'm going out there to start living. There was retirement, and there were benefits put for that. And then people started looking for other things to do after 40.
After 40.
So it was not life ending at 40, but starting at 40, and I think he was right.
Okay.
Yep.
You think he was right?
Yeah, he was right.
We'll be back to you to tell us what do you mean you think he was right. But then, Emmanuel, you said that life actually for you began at 40. What happened in the 30s, 38, 35? What was that? It wasn't life?
You know what, huh? Here's what I feel. And I had the privilege of doing this program called, this course called Zindua. And Zindua actually gave me words to put to what it is that I felt. From 0 to 20, it's the process of nurture where you're developing, you know, your physical, your mental, you're learning your gifts, you're learning, there's life and this is who I am. Between your 20s and 30s, you are now developing those gifts and trying to figure out, okay, this is what I can do. What, you know, that's the part where people are in college and you're developing your mind, preparing yourself for the future.
Okay.
Now, in your 30s, you are now applying some of the things that you've learned. And then most people, it's interesting, most people in that season is when they begin to realize, maybe what I thought, you know, I liked is not what I really liked. And then during that season also is the time people are getting married, you're getting children. Now the children have gotten out of that crazy stage of, you know, constant care. And then at 40 now is when you're like, hey, hiya, this is life, you know. And now you begin to even think of the self. You begin to think of, what do I want out of this life? You know, what do I want to achieve? And it's interesting because when you mentioned 37, 38. When I was 37, I began to ask myself some hard questions. Actually, it's my wife who asked me that. She mentioned something, so I started asking hard questions. Hey, what do I have to show for in the last years? And most people, when they get into their 30s, that's when they begin to ask, what will I show? What will be my legacy? What will be the thing that I get to do? And then I was reading this one article, and I came by this one graphic. And this graphic had top successful people or companies in the world. And they were talking basically about, and most of them were designers, you know, like Calvin Klein, you know, Carolina Herrera, you know, all those guys, all those names that we know, Christian Dior. And you know, it's very interesting. All of them started the business that they're doing, the path that they're on, when they were 39, 38, 40, 41, 42, within that range. So one, it gave me a little bit of a reprieve, like, oh, it's not too late. But two, it made me realize, like, you know, until I was about 38, until I was about 40, I was really reacting to life. And now is when I came into who I am and what do I want to see? What's the legacy that I want to leave?
It's interesting that men also have something that happens to them at 40 because it's the ladies who are mostly concerned about age, you know, I'm getting old, I haven't had babies. The people who say the life begins at 40 because at 40 you have had your children. Pauline, what do you think about people who are waiting to have their children at 40s? Deliberately waiting.
First, before I get to what you're asking for, I would want us to look at it developmentally. And you know, many psychologists have different theories of how human development is all about. But I like this one psychologist called Erik Erikson. He tells us that we go through 8 developmental stages from the time we were born until the time we shall die. And you know, it's like a staircase. One stage builds on the other. So, like for example, you're asking about women who who at 40 have not had their children. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, at 40 is when, according to Eric Erickson, it's when intimacy is at its peak. And you know, from 40 going onwards, then you move to another stage whereby you are now supposed to be generating, giving back, bringing up children. So if at 40 you are still struggling with, do I need to have children, do I stay single, it's a crisis.
It's a crisis.
It's a crisis. And even biologically, look at human anatomy, biologically, the reproductive system. At 40 is when now your body starts shrinking, and you know, menopause is, it's not so far away from reaching you. So I guess people should have children. According to me, people should have children and have settled with the number of children by the age of 40.
By the age of 40.
Yeah.
I think when you have, I don't know why people waste their 20s. This is my personal opinion. Girls waste their 20s. After college, my friend, you should get married and settle and have your children. So that when you're 40, you're free to go wherever, do whatever, travel with ease, not thinking, oh, my 1-year-old, who will take care? My 2-year-old, I need a nanny. I think at that time, honestly, you know, God allowing, you know, not as in there's some godly factors that you could not overcome, but everything natural and peaceful, you should. Your children should all be able to speak Kista. Do you think girls waste their 20s?
Yes and no.
Okay. Good one.
Yes, because like Pauline said, there's a time in life, like when you hit 40 and you have a 1-year-old as the firstborn, by the time you are 60, that person is only 20. Well, the second-born, the third-born, assuming they're following each other, give them a gap of like 5 years. So by the time you are at home, very old with Mkongojo, those kids are not yet done with school. So that's a challenge.
Yeah.
Again, when we look on the other side, you know, women and men nowadays, they want to go to school, get education, and they want to plan their lives. We say life begins at 40.
Yes.
So there are people who are beginning their lives at 40. You went to school, or for some reasons you didn't get the right spouse, you can't force things.
Yes.
So there are some factors, like you said, maybe godly or manly or whatever, that prevent, unless it's a decision one makes that I don't want children at this particular. Yes, that is the right age. But what if you didn't get the right spouse? What if you didn't? Maybe at that time you were struggling. Do you get children that you cannot take care of? So there are other people that still their life will start at 40, meaning that they'll get their spouse at 40. They'll start maybe getting children at 40. Still, it starts at that particular time for them. Yes,
I'm hearing you. But you know, there are people who just wait and they say, I still have time. So I'm done with campus 19, 20, 21, and I just call it enjoying life. I'm just hanging out with guys and doing stuff. I'm not thinking of getting married and getting pregnant and having my children. Maybe no one has even told me it's important, because at 40s you enjoy life.
Sure.
I think so. And do you enjoy life?
Yeah.
You are.
I am.
And he's a man. And you enjoying life?
I am.
What is the age of your last child?
She's turning 13 August this year.
She's turning 13.
And you know, the beauty of it is, if like today we decide with my husband to go for a weekend, an outing, a whole weekend, to Nanyuki or wherever, I don't have the baggage, you know. And you know, this is why we are saying life begins at 40, because at 40 you are settled, financially you're also doing well, you know, emotionally you are stable, you've settled with this person, and you know, you're enjoying life. So like you say, I would encourage that young people out there, don't waste your time, settle down and life moves on with you.
You know, girls nowadays want to get married at 35, they're waiting to have a stable job, they're waiting to find the Mr. Right. Is there a Mr. Right? The Mr. Man that we have?
My opinion
Yes.
is there's no Mr. Right and there's no Mrs. Right.
Okay.
My opinion, I think, based on 17 years, I thought
Marriage.
marriage. I met my wife, and to me, she was Mrs. Right.
I know.
So for me, I feel like I had so many expectations, and in the first 2-3 years, all these expectations and these myths were all being busted, and I was just like, "Hiya, did I make a mistake?" You know, and I believe it's about understanding the role of being a man, understanding the role of being a woman, or rather husband and wife, and both of you working towards that in order to make it a success. So I actually believe that anybody could get with anybody and make it work.
Yes, and make them the Mr. Right.
And make them the
Mrs.
Mr. Right, yeah.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, I thought about it. My mom did not become the perfect Mrs. Right, immediately. It took her years of learning, years of going through her processes when children came, when children were going to school, children were going to college. There's so many changes that happen in life, and you have to adjust yourself to that. So for her, I guess, she became the model wife, when she was much older. So we're all works in progress, and we're all getting there. I think what's most important is to find somebody who's willing to learn and willing to work at it.
Exactly. So these people who were delaying because they didn't find the Mr. Right, they cannot win a case. All that needs to happen is find this person and make them a Mr. Right, not depending on them, but depending on yourself. I think so. Because if our mothers were not the perfect women and they settled, they decided, you know what, why am I going with 3 children or 5 children? Going to see for another Mr. Right? This was a Mr. Right when I decided to get married. But now things are not flowing as I thought, So do I change the man or I change my heart and I change my mind? So these guys, Pauline, the ones you were saying didn't find the right partners, I don't agree that is the reason why they delayed to get married. At 40, like Emmanuel said, you should have actually gotten to synchronize all these differences that you had. See, for him, it says 2-3 years. He was like, did I make a mistake? But he slowed down a bit, and he was able to check his mind again and plan well, and he settled. And now it's talking about 17 years down the line. But he has made it.
But you know what? 1 or 2 viewers who are watching right now,
Yes.
they'll tell you that no one, like a woman, you don't go to a man who tell him, you know what, today I feel like you should marry me, There are women out there who've never met even that Mr. Wrong to make him right. See? So, for many years, true, there are people there, they're beautiful, they have it all.
Yeah.
But no one has ever come to them and tell them, you know what, I think I should.
Pauline, that's true.
Personally, I think when we are looking for that partner, life partner, like Emmanuel said, we have a huge chunk of expectations.
Yes.
And why someone would say he or she has missed a partner is because maybe you've set 10 qualities, but the ones that you're finding, what Kista is calling the wrong Mr. Right, they have not even found the Mr. Wrong, has only maybe 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
And there is a component we call resilience. Are you resilient enough to help maybe to work with this person who has 4 out of 6 to make at least an 8 out of 10? For 4 out of 10 to make it at least an 8 out of 10. That willingness, to work with that partner who doesn't meet all your qualities is what is lacking in many of our young people. And that's why someone would say, I've not come across a partner that would marry, I want to settle down with. Because maybe your expectations are so huge and no one is meeting them.
I also don't think so.
But I also feel like culture has changed so much. For us who are in our 40s, we can safely say the kids growing up now don't have the values system, don't have the way we used to do things. I mean, there were ways we carried ourselves in public. There were ways we carried ourselves in front of our parents. There were things that we did. Today's children, there's a very small, percentage that is actually still living like that. To the point that we even feel we are so old school. We use that word old school, because things have changed so much. Culture has changed. The way people are being raised, the society is so broken, so they don't have value systems. So by the time you're getting to your 20s, this man is not ready to be in a relationship. He's not ready to be resilient. And then today's culture says that I want whatever I need, pap, right there. There's no patience. So culture has a big role to play with where we are right now. Yeah.
Pauline, I really want to hear. You're 47 right now. What changed when you just turned 40? Was there a click like, hey, I am 40? When you were getting there, did you have some fears? Did you have expectations? Had you heard of anything that happened?
I was trying to explain the developmental stages. Between the age of 13 to 20, that's adolescence, isn't it? That's the age of autonomy. You want to explore, you want freedom, you want to do things. From 20 to around 30, then that's exploration, and I think that's what Emmanuel was saying. You want to try this, you want to try that. So you even life goals are also mixed up. You've not settled, even career-wise, you've not settled on what you want to do. And I found myself there. I started as an accountant before I switched gears to being a counselor. And at that age between 30 and 40, I'm still confused. Do I want to pursue accountancy? Do I want to go to counseling? How many children do I want to get? And at what age do I want to own property? Those mixed life goals. So by the rate that is, now, you are trying to look at your life and you're like, wow, my children are growing up. Life is catching up with me. Like Emmanuel said, what do I have to show for the years that I have lived? So it started hitting you. It started hitting me personally that I need to sober up.
So between 20 to 30, you're still thinking of whether you want to own property?
Exactly.
What you want to study? How many children you want to have? Okay.
Yeah. And that's why I think now this saying that we are saying life begins at 40, because now late 30s is when you are now settling, shifting goals. Some sins are disappearing from your life, and you are welcoming new approaches. You're settling down mentally. So at the late 30s is when now you start feeling, wow, now I think I have a purpose in this life. And now this is when it's kind of your blind is removed, and you can see life now, and then you start living.
Who drops that veil off your face?
Personal experiences. You've tried this, it never worked, so you're like, I don't want to go this route. And again, biologically, I think God is also in working in us, because he's kind of trying to let you know that, what, Pauline, life is catching up with you. And you need to, if you, for example, you have children, you need to have settled financially for these children. You need to have settled financially for even yourself. You need mentally to have settled down. The jumping here and there needs to come down, and
it does happen.
And it does happen.
Kista, only 3 years after,
Yes.
what did you feel? Was there like, hey, so now I've gotten 40. What is going to happen to my life? What was most scaring for you?
Thinking of menopause, maybe. I was like, okay, menopause. How does it happen? There's all those things. And, psychology says those stages. This is a stage whereby, as a psychologist, I had to go back and like, hey, I'm getting to these years. What is in this particular package? Then I'm like, okay, now I'll start going to those chamas, our mama, because that is the age whereby you want to maybe start giving back to the society. You want to bring up the society. You see, he notices that the young people, now you start talking that language.
Yeah.
Young people of nowadays, they are doing this. You want to see the right things happening, you see. That is why you see around that age, that is when you'll get in the village, the chair lady comes from around that age. The chair lady of this. The admin of Chama Fulani is the same lady, you see. I was now trying to prepare myself. Okay, this is where I'm getting to. I had to do my research. And okay, 40. It doesn't have to happen like that. Like when you hit 40 and you become the chair lady of the estate. So it's a process. 40, 41, 45. It's just like when you talk of middle age from around 35 to this particular age. So for me, I was like trying to prepare myself for the 40s. Yes, I had my own fears. I was fearing of the empty nest. Now my kids are growing. They leave me. What do I do from this point? So I got a baby at 40. I was like, unula kutoa viatu chini ya bed. I got my baby.
Hey, you were so fearful.
I was so fearful of the 40s.
You already saw the loneliness coming. Like
the kids are grown. They are that tall. Here I am. Okay.
So your last born is 3 years
now.
And you're 43.
Yes.
And who does he or she follow? What age?
Going to 14.
14 and 3. Very nice age gap.
Very nice. Yeah, so there are those fears that...
Wow. That is what the fear of 40 did to you.
Yeah. So I hope the fear of 50 will not bring another child. Yeah, so it's there. You have to fear. Like when I was approaching 30, still I felt like, oh my...
I'm living the 20s.
I'm living the 20s. I was kind of very tiny and small, and I looked small. And I'd go to, when naingia matatu and people are like, oh, msichana. And then things start changing. You're like, where mama? I'm like, this is mama. Where mama, you know. So very soon now, I was like, sure, you know.
Yeah.
So I had someone who used to go to the clinic for maternity, and every time she was fearing to write 30. So she stuck at 29 when she was pregnant with 2 babies. She never moved from 29 for the fear of writing 30, as in your 30s. It was such a big thing. And now 40s.
Why, Betty? Because you go to the midwives, and like nowadays they've reformed. Kitambo they would ask you, why are you giving birth at 30s?
Where were you?
Yeah, you should have given birth a long time ago. And you feel guilty, and you're like, what? No wonder I want to remain at 20.
They were rude, like
because
you're giving birth and your children are giving birth, you know.
Sasa wewe utakuja kuzaa na mtoto
wako anaza, you know.
But nowadays, Kista, how was it for you when you went to the maternity at 40?
Well, at 40, like we said, you already know where you're going. You're no longer that.
You're not guilty.
You're not guilty. You know yourself. You know what you want.
Yes.
I actually shopped for the baby 2 years before. You see, so I shopped, had done, and I had to go to the right hospital.
Did you feel like people will ask you whose diapers are you buying? Are they for your granddaughter or for yourself? For your
Actually,
daughter?
there's a friend of mine when I was pregnant. I met a friend of mine who joked. At that time, he was like, "Hey, Kista, are you pregnant?" I told him, "Is this your baby?" You know, I got agitated. What's your business if I'm pregnant? You know, I was so mad. There are those emotions that come with pregnancy. And to me, I think unconsciously I was telling myself, you know, I'm too old for this. Why am I even doing this right now? But at that particular age, I know what I want. I want a baby, seriously.
Yes.
And I don't care.
So you were not embarrassed.
The problem,
it's just that there was a thought coming you're too old.
But unconsciously
you
there's
had
something.
decided.
Because most of the time I would spend it in the car. I would drive myself even to the shop and come back. So unconsciously there's something that was telling me, I don't want to walk there, people to see me with a bulging stomach. Though I wanted a child, but the society also, there's something
to condemn you
condemn me, like my baby is that big.
You
and then
didn't
I'm
know
having...
you wanted children. Why didn't you finish early?
Why didn't you finish those questions? So about going to maternity, no. That one was, I knew that this is where I go to hospital. I'll book my gyna. This is what I'm going to do. At that particular time, umejipanga, you know
the
what.
way the nurses read your file, 45, and she has a baby at 45, you know. So that also
You have to choose your hospital
the
well.
hospital and drive to the shop.
Yeah.
And I think
walking.
that's what Emmanuel was talking about culture, the way it defines how
And
we
society.
should live our lives.
Yeah. Well, Emmanuel,
Yes.
did you have a particular fear or experience when you got to 40? Apart from just knowing that I've been looking forward to this, my life now needs to settle, I just now need to do the right things. I'm not going back to do the trial and error anymore.
Yeah, my biggest fear is I finally understood, who I am and what I want to achieve. It's interesting as Pauline was introducing herself. She says she's a marriage and family therapist.
Yeah.
In this season of my life, God has granted me 17 years and has helped me overcome so many things in marriage that I want to give back to society. In fact, it's interesting because you do psychology. So I've gone to counseling school. I signed up for counseling school just so that I can be a better marriage counselor, even though I've been doing it for a while. But I think my biggest fear is now that I know what I want to do I have the same energy as when I was 20 years old? At 20 years old, you have so much energy, so much. Yani, you're told to do something, you will go wherever, whenever, however, and it will take everything in you. But I'm just realized I do not have that same energy. The energy, those ones, the spirit is willing.
But the body is
But the body is weak, And then at 40, I started going, getting annual medical checkups. And then they start telling you stuff, and you're like, hey, now I have to change my diet. I have to think about this. So I guess for me, those were the biggest fears.
Yes.
And then, do I have the energy to achieve what vision that has been put in me for what I'd like to see happen in this nation?
I get you. Pauline, do you think that at 40, women have the energy to achieve the big dreams like, I want to go back to class? I think that at 40, for me, if you have the energy, it's very possible, because if you already have a first degree and you go back to school at 40, it may require you, for example, if you want to become a doctor, it will require you 3 or 4 years if you already have a first degree. And so at 44, 45, you'll be ready to become a doctor. If you start that at 45, you have 20 years to practice before 65 of retirement. What do you think about that?
And going back again to the developmental stages, like I said, one stage builds on the other. Why some will not make it to start life at 40 is because they've missed their earlier years.
If they missed it, it's a good chance to now start.
Because it's not for all that life starts at 40.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Go to the streets of Nairobi around 10 in the night, and you'll see men older than us,
Yes.
chasing after 18, after 19-year-old girls. What does that tell you? That there are stages they skipped, or there are stages that they never resolved the crisis. So not for all that life is going to start at
That's
40.
interesting. It's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. It is for that person who will have walked with his or her own life nicely, step by step, exploring on what, at the age that you are in, exploring on what it offers. If, for example, you are an adolescent, the stage determines that you have an identity, that you know who you are. Knowing who you are, you even know, you may not have the correct life goals, but you have a vague vision of what you want to achieve when you grow up. So if you mess up, as I was coming, I was listening to a particular radio station, and it was discussing the murders that happened over the weekend. This man that was got into a rough whatever. I think there were 4 of them, a couple, and they never realized that they were exchanging wives. And then a girl who committed suicide after her nude photos were exposed and they went viral on social media by her boyfriend. So I'm like, that girl had crisis. So if she managed to live, unfortunately she died, she could be struggling with the crisis. So if she hasn't settled by when life demands that you settle down, then life doesn't begin at 40.
Life doesn't begin.
You'll find, like I've said, you'll find women of my age chasing after 23-year-old boys, the Ben 10s.
Yes, and right now this should have been done.
Exactly.
With,
settling down and enjoying life. But this is
and if they want a child, they get one like Easter.
Exactly.
And it's still life that they have chosen. That's very interesting. I want us to take a short break. Viewer, we are having a very partial break. We are coming back just now. Today we're talking about life begins at 40. I don't know what your thoughts are on this. Does it really begin at 40? What's happening in the 30s? And after that, what is there? What are your fears? Please let us know. Our SMS line is 21144. See you shortly.
Welcome viewers to Talk to Rosemary Njagi show. The Bible says, seek ye the kingdom of God and his righteousness.
Amen, amen, amen. Oh my, have I provoked you? Then take action.
Different artists, different choirs,
Rescue mission. Pump me with your Holy Spirit.
different praise and worship. I tell you, this is a show where we bring the best of the best.
It's amazing.
Yes. And shalom.
Healing, hope, restoration. Amazing stories of real people like you who have triumphed over tragedy. Watch Turning Point International and be inspired to reach your turning point.
It really ministers to the soul of man, and as a pastor, you benefit a lot because people learn and they learn how to cope with issues probably you don't even deal with in your sermons.
It's not reality TV, it's real life TV.
Hi, my name is Zawadi. At Mahanaim, I studied to qualify for the IGCSE through the Cambridge International Educational Program.
We Mahanaim International High School students enjoy extracurricular activities such as joining GBS TV Club, Taekwondo, cultural dance, orchestra, swimming, foreign languages, community service, and much more. I believe this unique experience I gained here will go a long way into strengthening the future me.
The teachers and other ministers at Mahanaim spared no pain in running with us until the end of the mile, until we secured all of our goals.
And that's how I passed my IGCSE exams.
Mahanaim International High School cares about my future. Beyond our education, Mahanaim nurtures us to have bright and healthy mind so that we could become great future leaders.
How many of you use your real names on Facebook? Wengine ni Sweetie Pretty.
You must succeed in being an eagle and not a chicken.
I'm seeing myself owning the biggest media house in Africa. Yes, I could employ you, in fact. Yes.
All right, now it is going to another direction. But
When you are born and when you grow up, now
you do the work, you become a person who likes the country. You understand, right? I mean, not getting a job at Kenya Power, right?
And you know what? Who you are online is exactly who you are offline. And who you are offline is who you are online.
제가 여러 군데 가서 강연을 많이 해보는데
So I've been to many places to give lectures.
운하일레 와서 와 이러면
Whenever I say 운하일레 와서
눈썹으로 인사를 대답을 해요.
they respond with their eyebrows.
Everywhere, GBS.
Hello guys and welcome. This is G Radio, #1 TV show, and we're coming live at GBS TV. And I'm your host, Isaac Tabitha.
I'm the co-host Evan Tinyari, and as usual we have our DJ Deko. You can also send your views on my Instagram page at Tinyari_Equal.
And also you can get me on our Facebook page as Isaac Tabitha. Thank you so much guys.
Keep it here.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back, viewer. Thank you for the short break that you gave us. We are talking about life begins at 40. And I have ladies. I also have a gentleman's view. And I hope you have been listening and following them with the discussion that we have been having. And now I'm concerned about the health and the medical bit. Kista told us earlier that she feared getting into menopause. You know, actually, when you get to 40, you're nearing 70, that is the death age. So you start thinking, hey, if my husband dies today, who takes care of my children? Death is just nearing. I mean, you're nearer to death at 40 than at 30 and 20. So you start thinking broadly. And also in the break, I heard Emmanuel say that you no longer care what people say at 40. You don't care at all. Pauline, medically, what are the fears that when you get to 40 come to your head?
Like Kista has said, one fear, especially for women, is hitting menopause. And you know, the maids that come with menopause, they are uninformed information out there about menopause. So you're like, wow, if I'm close to 40, if I'm past 40, then menopause is coming. And you know, there are also maids that, you know, at 40 onwards, your libido goes down. So if you
it goes down or it goes down?
No, who said so? It's just a maid. There are maids that, you know, out there. So what I feared most was like, and you know, looking at, again, the streets of Nairobi, those are the people you'll find chasing after young people. So you start thinking, oh, so after 40, my libido goes down, so I need to look for an energizer out there. And you know, those are fears medically, but those are just myths. Those are just myths. Medically, maybe what we would say, issues of diabetes, issues of blood pressure, because like Emmanuel said, at 40 onwards, you're not energetic as you were in your 20s, even exercising. For example, if we were told to skip here, maybe I would only do 10. And you know, my heart is panting, and you know,
at 40 women start going to the gym because they're concerned about their outlook and they want to stay younger. What gives you that push that, you know, at 20s you're so pretty and so strong and so naturally beautiful? What happens to you at 40? This is the time you're concerned about your shape, your diet. What happens to you, Kista?
You know, you go to the doctor and they start talking about the BMI. They start telling you about weight, you know, for you
And
to get all
hormones.
those things, the diabetes and the arthritis, pressure, and all those lifestyle diseases. Most of them, they are connected to weight. I don't know why. And you know, at 40, it is not easy to shed the weight.
You're just gaining.
Even those gyms, you go there, you are doing smoothies, all types. You are doing spinach soup, and it's not working, you know, because hormones also. You have to accept that you are no longer that. In my before 30s, I used to weigh 47.
Wow.
47 kgs. Then they started just going up. I was that person that I would eat my chips very comfortably and tell people, you know, I don't even add to it. Everything. 47 to 50. 47, 50.
Before
I get my
30s.
first child. I get another child. I'm still there.
Wow.
Then suddenly, one day I realized, oh, I'm 70. Like, what? 70?
And you're not pregnant.
I'm not pregnant. I'm so single as in myself. Then with time, you know, the kgs keep on coming. So there's that fear that, you know, I've changed. I'm weighing more than I used to. I'm not that figure 8 that I was.
And your joints don't allow you to work out?
The joints, at 40, you're still young. Life is just starting. The joints start at maybe 16. We are still good. We can do a lot of gymnastics. Hey. Yeah, so the joints can allow at that particular point until you get to different age. The developmental stages, the 60s, where generativity versus
stagnation.
That's a different age now, because you move from 40, then next time you call the 60s, they'll tell you. Because when you move from this age where you want to do things, you want to raise children, you're very active in the society and all that, you age whereby, you know, you start asking yourself, did I achieve? In the 40s, did I achieve?
When life began for you.
When life began at 40, what did I do to myself? Did I get the property that I wanted to get? Did I get the right number of kids? Was I okay? Career-wise, did I save enough for this retirement phase? Then that is when you find the wazes now. You find two types of wazes in the village. We have those ones who are very confident with themselves. They still take their shower, they dress nice, and you have the drunkards. That person has despaired. They despair in life completely. You come near them, they hit you, you know, they don't want, they are bitter. You've seen them? They are so bitter. So in your 40s, you try to prepare yourself so that when you get to that stage, you won't be bitter, you won't despair. You will be able to say that this is what I achieved in my 40s, in my 30s.
I get it. Pauline, at 40s, are you supposed to now begin taking your supplements? You know that people tell you eat healthy, take supplements, and there are so many supplements.
Personally, like I said, I don't do supplements. I don't think I would want to do them. I just eat healthy food. I don't really watch my diet. But like Imana said, you know, at 40, now, and the way you visit a doctor and the doctor is like, how old are you? Okay, now you should start watching your diet. But supplements, unless, I wouldn't even encourage people, because why would you want to push your body to function differently?
No, it's because your body has been serving you this long. You have not serviced it. It is still serving you, and it's getting tired, it's getting weak. So you're just re-energizing, especially your bone and joint fluids, so that it can take you longer and more active.
I would think instead of supplements, eat foods that, you know, will give you calcium. Eat foods, the spinach soup that Krista is talking about. No wonder you'll find a lot of blenders in the house. You know, this one is for soup, this one is for smoothie, I don't know, this one is for what. Because, you know, because supplements, those are medicines. I would rather you do it naturally. You get food that will give you calcium.
As a husband and a father to your sons, at least I know you have sons, this age of 40 and having just begun, what is the important thing it has brought to your life that you think you want to carry on before you lose it, now that life doesn't start at 40 for everyone?
I think, first of all, I think the most important thing is to have a good relationship with your partner. I think, you know, when you have a good relationship with your partner, you have a good understanding of each other. You have a good understanding of each other. And, you know, one of the big things for me is that I have started now loving me and taking care of me. And I think I've realized that when I take care of me, I'm a better husband for my wife and I'm a better father for my children. There are things that are now important. One, I rest quite a bit. So, you know, that thing of going to bed at 11, 12, it's not there anymore. Nowadays, by 9 p.m., I'm in bed. I'm more intentional with spending time with my wife. You know, I'm not too busy running out and looking for things. I know how to balance. I know, you know, there is time for work, but the most important is time with my wife. And then when we are good, it also translates to time with my children. So there's an intentionality that I have now because, you know, it's just, it's almost like I feel like I've grown up, I've matured, you know, and the most important thing is the people around me. For me now, wealth is not a big car, wealth is not a big house, wealth is the networks and the relationships and the people who are around me and the quality relationships of who is around me.
Okay. I want, ladies, I want you to give us your parting shots and I will come back to the gentleman later. But I want you to tell our viewer, what is it you felt like you missed that at 40 you had to recover? I'll begin with Kista.
Okay. For me, I feel like at 40, I was born. I was born because in all aspects, I feel like I would say I'm getting there because the struggles of life are no longer there. The children have grown, at least the first phase is grown. I still have my baby. So I'd say I've achieved. Financially, I'm not struggling as much as I used to. And I feel like I'm more open-minded. And I have my girlfriends. We get to do things without fearing that, there is a relationship that I need to fix here. You know, the roots are stronger now for my life.
Wow.
Yes.
Pauline. One thing that I felt at 40 that I had missed, by 40 I had my children. And you know, by the time I was nursing my children, my girlfriends out there were deep into their career paths. And here I am nursing babies. So I was like, did I make a mistake? But today, when we chat and we get together with my girlfriends, they're like, Pauline, you made the right choice. Then I was looking at them and I was like, I think I messed up. But today I'm so proud about myself. Parting short, starting from where Emmanuel has stopped, relationships. There is a current research that has been done by Harvard Human Development Institute in US. And they said, if you want to enjoy life and hit 80, work on your relationships before the age of 50. So like he said, viewers, work on your relationships before you hit 50. Life starts at 40.
So they have 10 years or less to work for them to ever get to 80.
Yes.
Good. Emmanuel.
I think for me, the thing that I feel like I missed, and I would encourage, you know, the viewers to consider, and especially if you're in your 20s and in your 30s, is I feel like the career path that I was on was doing everything for my parents and because society said this is what you need to do. I think you need to figure out what your passion is. I think you need to figure out what your purpose in life is and then go all out and pursue it. I'm pursuing it now at 42, 43 years old. And, you know, I can't imagine how much I would have achieved if I'd started it, you know, in my 30s. Instead of wasting time trying to pursue all these things and not living out my God-given passion, my God-given, purpose.
Good. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming. We have actually learned a lot, myself and the viewers, and I hope that people have been so excited having to listen to you, give your experiences and how your life has been when you hit 40. Thank you so much, viewer. also for watching. It has really been a nice episode. I look forward to seeing you next time, and I want to hear your views and your likes on Facebook. I want to see you watching this on YouTube. Thank you so very much. I've been your host. My name is Betty Akuku. See you next time.